What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is a very merry edition of What is Happening in Tampa Bay. I am joined with you this evening by a rock star, Miss Stacey Amon, my trusted co-host. Good evening, Stacey.
Good evening. How are you today?
I am well, excited to be with y'all tonight. We are looking forward to chopping it up with you guys pre-holiday, coming into that time of the year. Sorry I don't have my Santa hat. I would, but it's packed in with all of my other stuff somewhere around the RV in the garage, so I don't know where any of it is. I almost bought one today, Stacey, but I was like, I don't know where this is going to happen. So let's just rock with it anyways. But we're excited to be with you guys today. We're going to be sharing some things happening around town here in Tampa Bay, holiday, Christmas, all the fun stuff that's going on around town. We've definitely got some really cool news and notes to cover about Wesley Chapel specifically. Huge announcement last night or this morning. I don't remember when it was. I saw it at like 5:40 this morning. I was like, wow, that's a big announcement. Also, some other cool things coming to Wesley Chapel. This is not just focused about Wesley Chapel today, I promise, but there's a lot of news that I think you guys need to be aware of. So we're going to be sharing that with y'all. I'm excited to do that with you today. And if this is your first time joining us, my name is Juan, Alcala. Along with my trusted co-host here, Miss Stacey Amon. We talk about all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, the food, the dining, the outdoors, the beaches, the sunshine, and the holidays. So if it's your first time here, we welcome you to the conversation. That's something we would love to invite you to do, is let us know where you are watching from. It is an interactive show. If you got questions, feel free to put those in the chat. We do have quite the community that shows up here on a weekly basis. They are incredible. So we love sharing that community with you. So feel free to interact not only with us, but them also. Just keep it clean. Any crazy stuff in the chat, I'll have to bounce it, just FYI. So let's make sure that we're all on the same page there. But excited to get in with you guys. A lot of cool stuff happening in and around town. Stacey's going to get into that today. I want to get in and say hello to anyone who has said hello to us already. Derek, what is up, my man? I said 2 college bowl games coming to the area within the next week or so. Great for the local economy. Absolutely. You've got the Michigan-Alabama game, the RealTor Bowl there. I don't remember the other bowl game. Derek, put that in the chat for me if you don't mind. Santa Claus may be delivering tickets to one of them, Stacey.
That's exciting.
It is. I'm being cautious because little ears may be watching, even though they're in a different state right now. So I'm going to keep that to myself. So, but yeah, that's pretty exciting stuff to have that over at the Raymond James Stadium. I'm excited to get into that for sure. But yeah, man, thanks for sharing that. Like I said, if you guys let us know where you're watching from first and foremost. Secondly, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all the stuff. All right. So we want to make sure that we connect with you guys and just say thanks for being a part of our community. We appreciate y'all so much, man. Stacey, you've got a lot to get to today on your list. There is no doubt. Oh, let's get into this real quick too, because Derek did share.
Gators.
Yeah, exactly. The Gators and Tulane this Friday. Absolutely, my man. Thank you for that. I couldn't remember who the other bowl game was. In my mind, there was only one, but hey, that's just like, no, I understand. And it's that bowl is the leftover bowl anyway. So let's be real. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing exciting happening for either one of those teams, but all good. But Stace, you've got a ton to cover today. We're going to talk about what's happening in downtown Tampa. Some stuff we've already discussed, but we want to bring it back up because these are some of the funnest events that happen in the area. So we want to make sure we cover these. So let's get right into it. What do you got for us today?
Well, this Saturday, we have the Tampa's Christmas boat parade, which is really a fun event for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So it starts at 6:15 on Saturday, and it's along the Riverwalk. So
this goes from all the way up in near Armature Works, right? Mm-hmm. And it goes all the way down to Sparkman's Wharf, which is a pretty wide berth. Let me show this on the map. Let's give some context to the conversation, right? Because this is, sometimes you don't know if you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
Cool. So you all are looking at the map here. You can kind of see what's going on. Hopefully that's big enough. Let me get this thing. You can see Sparkman's Wharf right there. Okay, cool. So Armature Works is right here, boat parade, and then it comes down through past the University of Tampa, past the convention center, all the way down and around Sparkman's Wharf. And back here is where the port is. That's where the cruise ships and all those things are back there. So it's a long event, and there's like rooftop bars and all kinds of stuff down there, right, Stacy?
Yeah, lots to do, lots of places. And where's Curtis Hickson Park from there? Can you circle that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's clear this off here. Curtis Hickson Park. Let's get downtown. It's right next to the Glazer Children's Museum, right across from the University of Tampa. University of Tampa is here. Curtis Hickson is this park right here.
We can't see you.
Oh, let me get it to you. This is Curtis Hickson.
Yeah, so there's a Winter Village there, so you can do both events in one spot.
Absolutely. You can do the boat parade. After that, you can go rock out at the Winter Village. We have discussed this a few times, but ice skating, depending on the weather, today was like 81. It's just so random. The last few weeks has been 80, 50. Right? It's just been nuts in terms of weather. You never know what's going to land, but some really cool events down here. They've got the Village Winter Shops. One word. Those are two separate words, Stacy, in case you were wondering, not just one. Lots of food, sugar. If you need to get in that coma, they also serve adult beverages and coffee. So, you can balance it out with your upper and your downer. Depending on how the boat cruise is going and how the kids are acting, that's basically going to determine how the evening is going to end at some point, right? But right. I love this. Last year, this is where I got all those. You guys see those cool Tampa shirts that I wear all the time, the ones that say Tampa Bay or whatever. Like I was introduced to For the Bay at the event here. They had a little pop-up shop down there, Stacy, and I haven't stopped buying clothes from them. Now they're sending me emails about, hey, we miss you.
You need to come buy more things.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a problem. We don't have that kind of relationship. But the ice skating is cool. I mean, for Tampa kids, this is not a normal thing, right? Like you either have to go to the arena up in Wesley Chapel as an example. If you can get on the ice rink in Tampa proper, that would be amazing. But we're Florida kids don't have the same opportunities as y'all up north if you're watching from up there. So skates are a rarity, and especially outdoor skating, right? Just like the Snowcat Ridge we showed last week. But it's cool. It's a really cool event to be able to go down to. And I think the boat parade is awesome. Doing the river walk, Stacy, like you said, and then, walking down to Curtis Hickson Park is awesome. You can catch the rail car over to Sparkman's Wharf also. So, you really got some options when it comes to getting around the Riverwalk, specifically in downtown Tampa.
Yep. And plenty of places to go eat around there too, in walking distance.
Exactly. And if that's not your bag, you can go over to Midtown too, right?
Yep. We have a Merry Midtown Market this Saturday. It's pet friendly. So if you need to do some last minute Christmas shopping, they're going to have music. And of course, they're going to have all the good foods. So don't eat before you go.
Or do if you, if you don't want to show up hungry. It's one of those situations, right? Like what's the rule? You don't go in the grocery store hungry, right? Right. But if you save up all day, then you save the calories, like you can balance things out. So I guess that really depends on what your approach is going to be.
Right.
Ultimately, So yeah, Merry Midtown Market. That's pretty cool. I'm excited for that too. Let's say hello to our late joining guests. Let's make sure we acknowledge everybody. If you guys are just popping in, welcome. I'd love to have you guys connect with us. We are live here on YouTube and the other sources as well. Jump in, let us know where you're watching from. Love connecting with you guys. Mr. Jenkins, good evening, sir. He says Brian and Tria. I want to make sure I get that right. Yeah, Yep. Here, temporarily in Maryland. They are going to make their relocation at some point. That is wonderful. What is up, lad, my man? He says, what's up, y'all? Hope all is well. I'm coming to Tampa during the holidays to scope out the areas we want to live in next year. My man, we call that community shopping. That is the best way to do it. It's a very fast way to learn and keep yourself out of trouble, is what I would say. It really helps you guys just get I don't know, man. We did it too, but I didn't have a fancy term for it back then. We were just kicking the tires trying to live like a local. and really figure out what made sense to us. But we call it community shopping now. And I think, if you have the ability to do it, it's one of the most important steps you can take to really get some clarity. So I love that you're doing that, Vlad. That's awesome. Lindsay, what is up? Shout out to Allen Park, Michigan. My peeps back up north. Lindsay, we are coming back home, man. We are getting out of the RV for the next probably 10 days and heading up north to come freeze with you guys. I actually went and bought cold clothes today, Stacey.
I was going to say, did you find your warm clothes?
I bought like 3 jackets, a whole bunch of long sleeve shirts, because I can't find, all my stuff is packed like in the pod all the way at the front. And I was like, we're not getting any of that. So here I am buying winter clothes that will probably last me 2 decades because I'll wear them 4 times.
Well, I hope you bought some classic looking things.
Yeah, I did. I bought flannel and those types of things that will last in eternity. So that's funny. And yeah, pray for me, y'all. I am not built for cold weather anymore. We don't know what that means. We struggle when it gets into the 50s and the 40s here in Tampa. I don't have a clue anymore. My blood is thin, right? All of that Yankee has been drilled out of me by the sunshine. So. we have fixed that. I love it. Desi, good evening. Good evening. Happy to see you and happy holidays to you as well. And Merry Christmas to everyone also that's tuning in. And yes, we will. I'm getting ready. I know there was some teens last week down up there. So, but guess what's not there? Guess what happened here today? 81 degrees. Sun was shining. Absolutely beautiful. The beaches were doing their thing. I will say this: our communities are nowhere near what they were prior to the hurricanes. However, it is great to see people out and about on the beaches, doing the things, shopping, the community. It's just been awesome. We've been trying to go to more of the restaurants locally, Stacey, than we normally would. And we're not big chain people anyways, but we really have been focusing on going to those more of the beach places just because they were hit some of the hardest during that time period. But we'll get into some of that stuff later today, y'all. I know we got a lot to kind of talk through. But like I said, Stacey's got some great stuff to share. Let's get into let me get in this question before we get moving. We were just in Fort Lauderdale on the Disney cruise with nice weather, then back up to cold. Boo. Yeah. And I don't know when you guys went home, but I know last week, like I said, you got teens, but I think it was like 40 or 50 yesterday. So shout out to you. Okay, we got questions over on Instagram too, so let me jump over there really quick. Okay. I can't share that screen with you guys, unfortunately, but we do have a question from Lisa. She says, do you cover Dunedin for a listing? Yes, Lisa. I am in Pinellas County personally. Stacey's in Pasco. Another one of our agents on our team, Madison, is also in Pinellas County, and that's my backyard. Dunedin was the town that stole our heart, that got Kate and I really wanting to move here. And then Indian Rocks Beach was the beach that closed the deal for us. So that is my backyard. Know all about it. So feel free to connect with us, Lisa, if you have questions. All of our contact information is in the description, but if you're on Instagram, just DM me. I'll respond to you. So you got me there. And our Instagram handles are on the screen. So if y'all need it, feel free to connect there. Ronnie, Merry Christmas, my brother. Happy to see you too. Happy to see you.
Merry Christmas. We haven't seen you in a while, Ronnie. Where you been?
I know. It does feel like that way, doesn't
it?
And he, Ronnie's making a life. He's got things going on. He's moving and shaking, right?
We'll give him a pass then.
He's moving and shaking. Okay. And it wouldn't be a normal Christmas celebration without at least one ugly sweater party. Is that fair to say?
Yes. So more local events going on in Wesley Chapel. The Upperson Lagoon is having an ugly sweater party and an ugly sweater contest, along with a golf cart decorating contest, which I think is lots of fun. Yeah. So
very nice.
Yeah, there's going to be live music or lots of fun food, and I'm sure Santa may make an appearance there as well.
Yep. Paint and sip. Gotta love the paint and sip.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. We'll get into New Year stuff next week, y'all. We will cover that for sure. Well, hold tight. Don't let me misspeak. No live stream the next 2 Tuesdays because those are the holidays. All right. Those are the holidays. So we definitely will make sure that we are on board there. and keep you guys abreast. So that's great. Be on the same page. Maverick, my man, he says, I'm moving to Dunedin as well. Dennis has been sending me listings weekly, of course, right? So that's great, brother. I'm glad to hear that that's been working for you as well. Dennis been awesome on the team, so glad he's been helpful for you. Ronnie's apologizing. Stacey, did you call him out? You made him feel bad, Ronnie. We love you.
I'm sorry, Ronnie. It's okay if you have a life outside of our show. It's okay.
It
we'll
really is. Just this once. Don't do it again. Don't make that mistake.
We'll expect you to attend more next year in 2025.
Absolutely. All right, Stacey, shifting gears just a little bit, y'all. And if you guys are just joining us, welcome. We were talking about all the things happening for Christmas in the area. There's a lot, y'all. There's so many different events locally in different areas. The city websites are actually really good for that. One of my favorite local rags is That's So Tampa. If you've never heard of that before, I'll share some stuff with from those guys here today as well. But we do have some city news that I think is definitely worth sharing. Heading up to Pasco County, which is just north of Tampa. I'll pull that up on the map here shortly. But we were talking about the lagoons, which we have one in Wesley Chapel. We have another one in San Antonio. They're building one down in Parrish. There's one over in Wyomama. And there are two more on the docket. One in Angeline and another one out in Land O'Lakes too. So like there's more to come on this respect. So we'll get into this, but some pretty big news, Stacey, on a city named the best city to live in Florida. And it's not the first time it's been nominated to this, but first time by this website. So I'm intrigued, right? Pretty cool thing to share for your backyard. But yeah, take us here. Let us know what's happening.
Wesley Chapel was named the best city to live in Florida. So there was a consumer affairs study that ranked Wesley Chapel #1, and it received high marks for strong economy, exceptional education and healthcare systems, safety, and quality of life. So the study evaluated 50 of Florida's largest cities. And the 5 factors were affordability, economic strength, education and healthcare, quality of life, and safety.
Nice. That's one that people ask about all the time, right? One of the most common questions we hear that your area is not safe or whatever. And we talk about this a lot. The one thing I always try to give perspective on is like, sometimes we've had our head in the sand about what's happening around us. And I don't mean just me, like Stacey and I mean like everyone, right? And when I ask people to pull up the FBI crime map and stack it next to their city, everyone's kind of shocked. Like, I had no idea that was happening in my backyard. I'm like, it happens everywhere, right? Like these things happen, right? And I don't think they're great. But one of the things that is a primary focus, I think, of most people, it's not out of the ordinary for people to want to be in a safe place. That is a human response, and that's very normal, right? Like, especially if you got a family. When you're, I don't know, not everybody, but when you're younger, you're willing to usually take more risk. As soon as you have to start accounting for other people and you're responsible for them, things start to change. But those cities that they put a priority on safety is the way that I'll describe it, right? Whatever you pay attention to grows. Isn't that fair to say, Stacey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So when you're focusing on, keeping your area safe, you're going to do a better job of it. Right. So, again, if you're looking for those communities with quality of education, high income, that's another thing that happened out in Wesley Chapel. We'll get into the weeds on that a little bit later today. But what were the 4 categories again, Stacey? The safety one just pulled me aside because people ask all the time about safety. Right.
Affordability.
Mm-hmm.
The economic strength.
Yep.
Education and healthcare.
Okay.
And quality of life. So we have the highest number of healthcare practitioners per capita in the state.
Yep.
And we are the second highest rated for insured residents. So we're the third highest. Go ahead.
That actually makes sense because, the surrounding area, you got the University of South Florida, Moffitt Cancer Center, You've got the Moffitt Research Facility that's being built right now. That's going through that phase, right? So, and Advent, Orlando, Baycare, like all the health systems, there's another priority, when it comes to that quality of living in that area as well. But I think this is great. Again, talking about the highest, the median income, right? Here's a really interesting thing here with Wesley Chapel's economic strength also played a significant role with the top ranking, with the highest median household income on the list at 112,000 and a 5-year population growth of 49% as the area is thriving. And you can feel that in the traffic. Make no mistake about it, y'all, right? So do keep that in mind when you're looking at communities like this. But affordability is a huge thing here. I will say, Stacy, we talk about this all the time, but you can still buy a brand new single family home in that area in the high 300s.
Yes.
Even close to the mid 3s in some areas. That's not every house, right? But there are options at that. And of course, you can spend a couple million as well if you wanted to do that. But it really has a wide range, and affordability is an option in that community for sure. So I love that. That's a great share. Congratulations to Wesley Chapel. That's big, right? 2 years ago, niche.com named them the #1 suburb in Florida to live in. And for a lot of the same reasons. And, this coming in from Consumer Affairs is big news too. So shout out to Wesley Chapel, another Tampa Bay gem, y'all. We are proud of that community for sure. And that's Stacy's home.
So I know. That's awesome. Right? And I have to point out that we were ranked the 3rd highest for graduation rate for education. So, education is always a top, priority for people moving out here.
In the state or, because it was evaluating Florida, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Third highest. Behind who? Do you know?
I do not know because I didn't see the list of.
I'm going to track that down. I'm going to dig that up. Okay, we'll dig it up. We're going to put the links to this in the description after the video ends, just so you guys know. So you'll be able to grab these resources. We always put a section down there so you can grab them. And if you don't see them, feel free to DM me and let me know, or put it in the comments. I'll make sure they get in there. But that's good. Also, other news about Wesley Chapel. Big news. This is the big thing, right?
Yeah. Well, there seems to be some debate as to what's going to be considered Wesley Chapel's downtown, because for like 10 years, Avalon Park was going to be the downtown of Wesley Chapel.
I saw the chatter today. I saw the chatter.
Yeah. Appears there's going to be a new downtown. Wesley Chapel.
It does say Ames, right? Like it does say it Ames, but they're trying to take over turf is what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and it's not going to be called downtown Wesley Chapel. It's going to be called the Legacy of Wiregrass Ranch. So, but this is big news for Pasco County too. I mean, the board approved the economic development for the first phase of the project. And they're going to consider it the true downtown of Wesley Chapel, according to the article. If not the whole county, there's going to be 30 acres from former ranch land that was owned by the Porter family. So they're the ones kind of behind. They've been really taking a very active approach in getting this all developed. They have a big part into how it's all being played out. So the first phase is going to be 150,000 square feet of office development, and it's going to be spread out over 2 separate office buildings. They are planning a hotel with conference space. There's going to be retail, shops, and restaurants. And this project is expected to generate for Pasco County a net property tax revenue of $5.3 million per year. Wow. And create over 7,100 jobs.
And there is a tax rebate for anybody locally wondering about this. There will be a tax rebate to the developer. That's how they entice these guys to build this stuff. Some people get upset about it. Other people understand. You guys take it for what it is. But at the end of the day, there's already been a tremendous amount of development over there in Wiregrass Ranch. right, Stacy? The sports complex is over there. You got Orlando Health Systems opening a hospital over there. What else is over there? There's a bunch of stuff. The hotel.
There's 2 hotels. Yeah, there's been some new restaurants open up over there.
Yep, that's where the
still a whole lot of land left to develop. Yeah. That's a crazy thing.
Well, and they're breaking ground on this, so this is big news, right? So anyone who's interested in the future of Wesley Chapel and what's happening here, again, allegedly this is going to be the official downtown when Avalon Park was before. We'll see. I think it's pretty cool when you have 2 of them. You know what I mean? Where if you have 2 developments that you could even consider that, I think that's pretty unique. And just to see the growth of Wesley Chapel continue in Pasco County, I think is fascinating. So that's pretty cool, Stacy. I definitely think that's nice. Ronnie says Legacy Wiregrass Ranch has a ring to it. Absolutely does. Ronnie, you moved up there, didn't you? If I remember correctly, I thought you moved up there. What's up, Denise? We have another Wesley Chapel resident.
Yeah. So the second phase, they're going to have like an entertainment center for concerts, plays and shows, and they're going to have a large food hall, and they're going to keep it pedestrian friendly so that everyone can walk. So there's a community college across the street, and then Orlando Health is going to be right there on the south end of that too. So they're trying to keep it walkable.
Okay.
A walkable facility. So
more to come on this, guys. We'll dig in for y'all. Okay, we'll keep an eye on this project. We'll get out and I'll get the cameras on it.
But you know what else I read in that article? I found it interesting. They said there's currently $570 million of private investment going on into the life sciences and medical within Wiregrass Ranch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting. Okay. That is fascinating. Continued development in, and those are good jobs, right? Those are great. I mean, those are great jobs for a lot of people. Depending on where you're coming from, the pay scale can be different, but I'm going to talk about that here in a minute because you just saw that Wesley Chapel ranked as one of the highest median incomes, household incomes, in the state here. Which I think is very interesting because, again, we often hear this so many times that, our jobs don't pay well. And if you're hearing that for the first time, I'm shocked because if you go search around the internet, people say that. But when I look at the data, Stacy, it doesn't necessarily prove that. Now, however, here's what I am saying, though. I understand for anyone who was, in a situation where your money wasn't going far and then the last 5 years happened, y'all, I totally get it. Right. People who were making good money were complaining about how their money was spending. So, it's not going well for everybody at that case. But I'm bringing this up because one of the things that I was coming across here, Stacy, well, before I get into that, one last thing. You did say that this was the big announcement and there was scuttlebutt. I think I have the biggest announcement about Wesley Chapel before we get into the money. I want to make sure.
Does it have to do anything with ice cream?
No, it does have to do with the food. Well, they do sell shakes there, so I guess that's the case. And y'all, if you don't know, I'm a fat kid. I love burgers, man. You don't get this shape by taking care of yourself by not loving burgers. And Shake Shack makes really good burgers for a chain. They do a good job. And by the way, now you don't even have to go in, right?
Drive through.
You don't have to go in. You just drive through. So Shake Shack's first Florida drive-through is coming to Wesley Chapel, right? How exciting. So I think that is the biggest news of the day. No, not that Wesley Chapel's been voted the best place to live in Florida. No. That's nothing. The reason they won that is because they've got a Shake Shack drive-through, right?
I have never been to a Shake Shack, so I'm going to have to check this place out.
Missing out. Yeah. The French fries, peanut oil. It's so good. Chef's kiss. It's awesome.
And when is this supposed to open?
I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't look at that. December 20th, baby. Oh,
wow.
Man. Yep.
That's like Friday.
You know where I'll be every time I come into Wesley Chapel from now. If I have like a little mayo on my beard, you know where it came from. So.
He's going to add that to the list of places to check out.
Absolutely. It happens, man. It absolutely happens. I love it. All right, let's get into some of these comments before we keep rolling here too. Let me pull this down. All right. Brian says Two Rivers development. Yes, it is. It is coming. There's still more news. That's a slow rolling development over there. With news also. So that is on my agenda to update at the beginning of the new year, Brian. So we'll get you some details, whatever is new over there. Again, I'm going to get the video crew over there as well, get you guys some new footage of what's going on. And the new communities, see if they broke ground on the golf course hasn't started yet. I think that's what everybody's kind of waiting for. Yeah. That and the surf park now, and like there's a lot to be desired, but I think we're going to be slow rolling 2 to 3 year project kind of development thing, just based upon what we saw in real estate over this summer and winter. I don't think that properties are going to move as fast there as they thought they were, as they hoped. That's for sure. It never happens, but
yeah, they've definitely been slow getting it going. I mean, the semi-custom builders are just now opening up. So
yeah. So the early, the DR Hortons, the Lennars of the world, they got in there and did what they always do. But the semi-custom, where you have some choices on things, has been a little bit slower. Ronnie says, "Oh yeah, so you are still in Clearwater? Okay, I thought you mentioned something about going to Wesley Chapel at some point. That's awesome. Okay, Maverick, what is up, my man?" He says, "Hey Juan, I'm a huge crypto investor. Nice, congratulations. You're probably having a great run, my man. All I know is my XRP and my Bitcoin is having a good day." It's been a good run. There's a blockchain company called Proppy. Yep, familiar with Proppy. They were one of the very first to take down a piece of real estate. That was big news about 2.5 years ago, I want to say, via Bitcoin, and streamline the entire transaction. I have not worked with them. They have not done a whole lot of transactions. However, I am familiar with them, like I said. So great question. Great question. All right. Let's get over to Instagram as well. Mr. Jenkins, who is on both Instagram and on YouTube, says, did we move Stacy? Oh, she's back. Okay. Brian says, Vita's Way, does it have a CDD? Yes. Stacy can give you more details on Vita's Way.
Yeah. Am I coming in and out?
Oh, you're strong now. Go ahead.
I keep getting the circles.
Yep.
There is a CDD. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly how much it is, but I'm going to guess that it's going to be in that like 18 to 2,400 a year range. Yep. The HOA will be $50 until the amenity, $50 a month until the amenity center is open.
We lost her again. But yeah, Brian, we actually have a client that has already contracted a Pulte build in Vita's Way. So Stacy's having some internet disruptions here, but absolutely reach out, man. Send her a message on Instagram or reach out to me, through the contact information. I'll make sure we get you what you need. As a matter of fact, guys, forgive me for not running the banner. I'm always terrible at this. Terrible at the self-promotion part of it, but get that going. That way you get it. But there's my phone number right there, Brian. You can just text me directly and that'll take you right to this, my man. So you got what you need. But pleasure to get into that. Stacy, are you back with Stacy?
I'm back. Sorry.
She's back.
I'm telling you, last night we lost power, and tonight it's the internet going in and out. So
that's all good. All good.
I was saying the HOA right now is $50 a month, but when the amenity center is finished, it's going to go up. They're not sure exactly how much. It'll be under 100, but it'll be in between that 50 and 100 range a month.
Okay. Understood.
And I was out there this past weekend, and it is really nice out there. Really, really nice. It's going to be a great community.
Yeah, I let Brian know that you've already contracted. Stacy's already got a client under contract out there with Pulte, so she's familiar with the community already. Good question. I got a couple more coming in. Kevin, my man. Merry Christmas, brother. Merry Christmas. Kevin is my man out in Lakeland. Good people. He's one of my OGs here, so happy to see your smiling face, my brother. And Merry Christmas. Thank you. Jeremy's got a good question. Jeremy, good evening. He says, Stacy, when are we planning We are planning to move to Central Florida in July of 2025. How far out should we start to work with a realtor? Great question. Great question. You want to take this one?
Yeah, well, it depends on if you're going new construction, you definitely need to start soon. That would depend on if you're wanting to buy like an inventory, a home that's already been permitted and is starting to be built. Those are maybe 3 to 4 months out. If you're doing a building from ground up, you would need at least 9 months to do that. For a resale, you can close as quick as 30 days, just depending on your lender. So if you're new to Florida, we do like to do some community shopping. So maybe like 3 days to come down, do some community shopping. Once you find an area that feels like home to you, we can find the house, right, Juan? It's pretty simple after you find the community that you like.
Yeah. And depending on where you are too, Jeremy, like our area of expertise, we go to Lakeland. We won't go any further east than that. That's not our backyard. We just don't know it. So we've got referral partners that we connect our clients with in Orlando, Daytona, Jacksonville, the other areas around Florida. So if that's you, if you guys are watching and Tampa Bay is not your area, and you'd like to be connected to somebody who we trust, happy to make that connection for you too. So just don't hesitate to reach out, guys. Like I said, contact information is on the screen. If you got questions, that's what we're here for. So great questions. Thanks for you guys keeping them coming too. Like I said, same thing over on Instagram. That's awesome. Fun Sun Waves, he says hello. Would love to have you as our realtor in a couple years, living in Wyoming right now. God bless you, man. I know that winters out there are definitely interesting to say the least, but yeah, that's great. And thanks, Jeremy, for the question. Like I said, hopefully that's helpful to you and your family as you guys get along on this project. Okay. On the on again, off again saga of what's happening with the Rays development, which is every other week. We don't know if the stadium's going to be built, if the stadium's not going to be built. I mean, stuff is insane. But here, I'll give you guys the latest. So first and foremost, before I get any further, the Tropicana Field has been approved to be repaired, Stacy, which I'm still blown away that we're spending all those millions, right? 26 million, I think is the number that's going to cost us to put a lid on that stadium for 2 years, which is unbelievable. Anyways, moving on to the next phase of this, when they're supposed to start on the new stadium district and the new Ray Stadium, which I'm excited for. On Tuesday, the commissioners did vote to advance the sale of the $312.5 million in bonds. However, the stadium group says that they are still unwilling to pay for any overruns, meaning that they're not going to spend any money if this thing goes over budget. Which, who in the world does anything in construction that doesn't run overtime or over budget? Right? I would love to know. Shout out to those people. I know that there are, Stacy, one of the things that they used to do back in Michigan is they would incentivize the crew to finish early and start billing them if they were late on deliverables. Now, having said that, sounds like a really good plan. You know what they ended up having to do? Rebuild the entire highway 5 years later and sue the snot out of that company. So I don't know if that's the best route to go. I'm not in civil planning, but I will say this. It would be really cool to get this stadium deal done because there's a lot more involved in it than just the stadium itself. There's a lot of commercial and residential development. There's new shopping. There's green space, which is awesome down there as well. You know, our metropolitan areas definitely have a lot going on already. And St. Pete has been, a very busy city over the last 5 years as well. And it would be nice to have an area that is dedicated to that and a great stadium to go play and watch games in. So that'd be cool. We'll see how it goes. And for anybody that just joined us, happy to connect with you guys. Thanks for chiming in. I want to just repeat that we will not be back for the next 2 Tuesdays. That is Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Hopefully you'll be enjoying that time or just relaxing or resting. But Stacy and I will be off for the next 2 weeks. We'll be back with you guys beginning in January. So keep an eye out for that. Just, it's been an awesome year. to share with you guys. I want to say thanks. Now I want to get into some quick real estate news and notes here. Stacy, one of the biggest questions that we've got over the last 2.5 months is what is going on after the hurricanes, right? What's going on with the housing market after the hurricanes? And it is a valid and great question. And I came across this article today and I thought it was so good for this community. Again, I'll link the resources down below after the YouTube video clears up. It may take me 12 hours to get that in there, guys, but I'll make sure that we get this in there for you. But this article is by Housing Wire, which is a real estate industry rag. But the data comes from a company called Altos Research that does a lot of statistical analysis in regards to real estate. This is one of the heaviest companies that do it. And this is really interesting. It says, how has Tampa's housing market fared since Hurricane Milton? And these numbers are going to be very interesting that I'm going to share with you guys. I've shared the article that showed that what typically happens is property values go up in a coastal region that's been damaged by storms or things like that. There was a 16-year study done in the state of Florida where they dug into these communities that had hurricane events and, tracked it. And I went through this whole article and it showed how, prices would typically go down at first, but then they go up tremendously because people tear the old real estate down and build new real estate that costs more money. And usually people have a lot more resources that do that too. So, you might have had a 1,000 square foot old like a village or cottage on the water that now turns into a 3,500 square foot McMansion, so to speak. And I know it's an unfair term, but like the values of those things are dramatically different. And that's what ends up happening. But this article was fascinating, Stacy, because it got into not only specifically coastal, but the adjoining communities, including the one that I live in. So I think this is a pretty neat article. It says, how has Tampa's housing market fared since Hurricane Milton? And it really gets into the statistics of it. But here's the deal. In the days leading up to the storm's landfall on October 9th, housing markets in Tampa came to a complete halt as sellers took their home off the market. Real estate agents put their business interests aside, and many people reported helping clients board up their homes and ensure that we were all prepared for the aftermath. And if you guys have followed my journey at all, you know that this is how it goes, right? Our community pulls together very well when things like this happen. That's not the way we want to pull together, but unfortunately, that is part of it. But the fortunate side is you see the best in people when these things occur, right? And when Hurricane Helene came through, we had to go down and help families in Indian Rocks Beach trash out their house, and it was crazy, right? And then 13 days later, we got confronted with the same thing. But this talks about the challenges of the real estate, right? So here's interesting, right? Tampa area, this is the entire metropolitan area, new home listings week over week, and you can see, right, coming into the hurricane here, Hurricane Milton impact, how everything went down. And then there's this huge spike in inventory, but I'm going to get into this in a second. Okay. Because this is a fascinating article. So here's what it said. The most eye-popping data for new listings the week of the hurricane. New listings fell by about 80% in 5 major cities in the metro area: Tampa, Clearwater, Largo, where I live, which is right off the beach, Brandon, and Riverview. Clearwater lost 81% of its listings in the highest rate among the 5 cities. Okay. These numbers would appear unmatchable if not for numbers posted the following week. After the hurricane passed, new listings in Largo jumped by 650% compared to the prior week. 400 in Clearwater, 309 in Tampa, 271 in Riverview, 175 in Brandon. Also saw significant recovers, meaning that all that inventory that was taken off the market was put back on and then some. Okay, well, that would typically lead to, okay, prices are going to start to fall, not so fast. And home sales would start to fall. And the very next thing that this is according to Altos Research, right? Pending home sales tell the similar story. The week the hurricane hit, new pending sales fell in the 5 cities, anywhere between 79% and as much as 183% Brandon. The volatility in new listings, however, did not have the same dramatic or immediate impact on overall listings. While all 5 cities showed the inventory dropping during the weeks immediately before and after the hurricane, the largest declines were less than 10%. All right. Oh, man. Go back. Sorry. It took longer for the markets to recover. Keep doing the same thing. Inventory fell modestly. Let me make sure I'm still there. Yep. Inventory fell modestly in the 2 weeks after Milton, but began to rise at a healthy clip by the end of November. And home prices were practically unchanged. Here's the thing, Stacy. Right? You seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Home prices were practically unchanged. And this is the thing. So inventory is all over the place. Why am I sharing this? Because people have and it's fair, right? Like what's happening in the Tampa Bay area, because of the hurricanes. Well, inventory went down like it should. Inventory rebounded like it should. And prices have been relatively unaffected by the hurricanes so far. Again, this is so far. What will happen in the future? There's a lot of unknowns on this. But again, if you go back to those studies, you see over time, those regions that were impacted typically have higher values. I'm telling you guys right now, the amount of money we're putting into our house, right? My house by April of this year will probably be worth 100 or 150,000 more than it was prior to the hurricane. Okay. Now I'll put every we're going to sink a lot of money into it, Stacy, right? I don't know what the final number is going to end up being, but the reality is, that's had to happen, right? That had to happen. But just like we're not the only ones is my point here, right? People who may have had old kitchens or old bathrooms and old flooring now are all renovating that because of the damages that have occurred, right? So you're getting these increased quality of the property, which ultimately is going to lead to a higher value on the home on the resale end. So yes, flooding did occur, but we live in Florida. This is part of the mindset that people have. That is not something that I would encourage anyone to go through. I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this right now. Like I shared before, all of our clients, not one of them has called me and told me that their home took damage from flooding. God bless all of you, right? Mm-hmm. I am grateful that I am the only one that had to wear that. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we're getting the renovation that we wanted, just not the way we wanted it. And that's the best attitude I can take, because it has been a challenge, as Stacy will inform you. Last night, we were jumping on a Zoom call with a client out of state. And literally, as I was walking to the computer in the RV, by the way, in my front lawn in front of my house, the plumber was working on Stacy. Our house is built in 77, so we don't have all the fancy. How when you go into the new construction, the water and the discharge for your washing machine is in a nice little box tucked in the wall.
Yeah.
Right. Well, back in the 70s, they used to just put a spigot on the wall. Right? And you had a whole, like a big pipe sticking out of the ground. Well, my house is all tore apart, so I was like, I might as well just get it tucked in the right way and get that eyesore out of the way. So what happens? The plumber comes to the house, he starts working on it. Guess what? The water doesn't shut off all the way. I walk in the house, and all of the drywall that these guys are working on fixing is now getting wet from the plumber, right? And God bless him, he didn't do anything on purpose. What we found, Stacy, is at some point our house had a plumbing leak. You couldn't see it because they covered it with board, right? But they cut it off at the ground. And for those of you who don't know, our homes are built on a slab. The plumbing is in the concrete. And if you ever get a crack in your plumbing, they either tear your floor up, literally, which back then used to be a finished floor. I had terrazzo back in my home. So the homeowner back then had to make a decision. Do I tear up my beautiful finished floor, or do I come up with a fix? So they ended up doing this fix, which that's what we discovered when we tore the wall apart. So I'm sharing this with you because remember when I said earlier, who gets projects done on time and on budget? I don't know any of those people. Right? And literally, we were about to meet with a client, and there's water pouring all over the house. Kate wasn't home, thank God. We did get it all taken care of. Everything was fine. But man, it's just been like, I'm done. I'm all set with that stuff. So learning about this has been quite the event, right? It has been quite the event. And over on Instagram, I just want to say hello to the people saying hello to us. ACC, hello to you as well. For anybody joining us on Instagram, thanks for checking with us, y'all. And y'all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you for making 2024, an incredible year for us. As we've shared, we've had challenges too, right? And not to make this about us, but you guys know we lost Marcia this year, and that was absolutely one of the most devastating things that could occur to our community. And so many of you have reached out. Oh my God, the messages. And Stacy, we've got clients and even people that Marcia had never helped buy a home because they didn't move for whatever reason, but we were on Zoom calls with. I've got emails and messages, and man, you guys are great. And I'm going to share them back with her family. So if you're inclined in any way to do that, please feel free. You can DM me on Instagram or send us an email, whatever you want. Contact info is on the screen. Just send it to info@truelivinggroup.com. And we're happy to send it over there. But y'all, you have been such an amazing part of our year. I just can't thank you enough. And even in the most difficult times, you guys have been incredibly supportive. I mean, Stacy got to serve like 24 families this year. So I don't even know, man. Marcia and Dennis and now Madison and obviously the people that I've been able to work with directly. You guys are so amazing. And we're proud. If you hear that in our voice, I'm not ashamed of being proud where I live. It's been an incredible journey. Even with the ups and the downs, but man, we're grateful for it. So Stacy, any final words before we sign off on 2024?
Yeah, all the love and support has been amazing. And like Juan said, we had a great year. It was great getting to know everyone on Tuesdays, seeing the same names pop in there and start conversation has been really comforting and fun. And just Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays with your family, and we'll see you next year.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. And, we got videos coming obviously over through the holiday. I'm excited that at this time of the year, we do a lot of refreshes on the cost of living because things change and, the pros and cons and things like that. So if you're interested in those types of videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel because this is where it comes from. So like we said earlier, all the resources we shared, we will drop in the comment section. In the description down below later. So you can grab those resources and just check them out. Y'all, it's been great. And I love when the invites start flowing in. Thank you, Denise. It's fantastic.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we do absolutely need to have some wine soon, very soon.
Yeah, Denise, I know you're loving it. This is what you came for, was this weather, man. And like you came down, and man, we've had already an excellent fall coming into the winter here. So we look forward to that continued awesome weather. But y'all, you guys have an incredible day. And as always, go out and live that Tampa life. We'll see you on the flip side.
Good night.